What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Thornville. We're here at Sheridan High School for week number 9 of Stadium Drive. Will Ford, Aaron Sprague with Storied Rivals Sports Media, and we're live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. And it's the big rivalry. This is for all the marbles as well, and it seems like it always comes down to this every year, Aaron. The MVL Big School Division Championship on the line tonight between both teams, 6-2, the Tri-Valley Scotties visiting the Sheridan Generals. And I think we're set up for another classic in this rivalry tonight because both of these teams seem to be, at least on paper, pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean, it's tradition. It's tradition. End of the season, league title up for grabs. You know, coming into the season, you know, you always have your wonders. I wonder if it'll be that way again. Mm-hmm. And we're here. You know, both teams undefeated in league play. Both teams have worked through some kinks to figure things out. And it's two unbeaten teams in the league looking to win the league title. Sheridan here at home on senior night. You got to think they want to get one over the Dogs. We'll talk about some statistics, wins, losses here in a moment. But, yeah, I mean, I like this matchup. This is one where I really don't know. I think it's whoever makes the most plays. It's seemingly going to win. You know, it's funny, Will. It's already week 9, and it feels like yesterday. It was a Thursday night in week 1. I was at Meadowbrook filming this new look Tri-Valley team that graduated all those seniors. And like, well, let's see what the Dogs got. Yeah. And they have grown so much from that first game, and they played well that first game. You know, Stone Spiker did a great job. Leevi Wade at the running back position and all the other holes they filled.
He leads the league in rushing. 1,500 yards rushing this year. I mean, he is a stud.
So it was like going into the season, everyone, you know, the outsiders were saying it's a down year. It's going to be a down year. This is the year. This is the year. And we've heard it before, but it felt like this might be that. Yeah. And they get better. And that's what happens when you have programs that do the right things. You know, you coach up kids, and the kids have confidence. And likewise, Sheridan's the same way. You know, they lost a lot. In fact, they're really fighting some adversity to start the season, Will.
Absolutely. Tons of injuries, especially to their starting quarterback, Tyce Whiteman, who maybe has the best arm in the entire league. And when your quarterback goes down and you drop your first 2 games of the year, granted to very good football teams in Licking Valley, who's undefeated, and then Watkins, I got a chance to see them against Granville, and they went toe-to-toe with the Blue Aces and took them down for the first time in, I believe, 10 years. Their offense is outstanding, and they sit at a 3-5 record, but they're a better than 3-5 record team when you just look at the eye test. They've just played a really tough schedule, but no shame for Sheridan in losing to those 2 teams at all. But an outsider who's looking at this might see 0-2, and suddenly the sky's falling in Thornville when really they just had injuries and they just needed to get guys back.
Well, they did, but where it stacked on for them, if you remember, Will, last year they didn't make the playoffs.
Correct.
They lost their last 2 games of the year. They lost their first 2 games this year, and I believe that's the first time this program has lost 4 straight games in about 40 years. Yeah. So that's why it felt so heavy. Yeah. And even, I mean, they had those close games early. You know, well, I guess they weren't so close, Licking Valley and Watkins. There were definitely some red flags. And you're right, Tyce Whiteman got banged up week 1, hurt his shoulder, has fought with that all season. So that was certainly a hit. But they figured it out. They've plug and played. They found a way to get wins. They're certainly a run-heavy team right now, just trying to find a way to grind that clock and keep control of the ball. Yeah,
and Logan Russell, their lead tailback, he was kind of banged up start of the year as well, but Coach Culver pulled him off the defensive side of the ball, allowed him to just play offense, which allowed him to be fresher in some of these games down the stretch, and he's rushed for 1,200 yards this season. He's second in the league in rushing. Really, it's a matchup tonight of 2 excellent run games, and these defenses are also, which it's the case in most high school football programs, predicated on stopping the run, so that's going to force Stone Spiker and Whiteman tonight to make big throws when it counts, here late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I know, talking to Coach West, he's concerned about his team's pass defense.
Yes, and he told me the same thing.
And Tyce Whiteman, if you remember last year, Sheridan lost at Tri-Valley, but Tyce broke a school record for most attempts. I believe he had over 50 attempts in that game in Dresden. Now, I don't see that happening tonight just because Tri-Valley or Sheridan's been so far off of throwing the ball that many times.
Right.
But, that is a concern for Coach West, their ability to throw.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, too, just kind of the records and wins and losses over the years in this rivalry. And when you said this before we started, I knew this, but also kind of couldn't believe it at the same time. Sheridan hasn't won at home against Tri-Valley, you said, since 2005. So it's been a long time coming for them. And 7 of the last 10 matchups in this rivalry have gone to Tri-Valley. And they won last year, like you said, 21-9. And so Tri-Valley, really for the better part of the last, 10 to 15 years, they've kind of dominated this rivalry, and we'll see how it plays out.
And Will, I was thinking about that coming in. You look at 2005 is the last time that Sheridan defeated Tri-Valley here.
Yes.
And 2006 is really 2006 is really where Tri-Valley finally got into the mix.
Yes, and got their feet under them.
Right, because before 2006, Sheridan had 13 straight wins over Tri-Valley, and Tri-Valley was really a doormat of the MVL.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. Coach Buttermore got there, flipped the program, and now, after Sheridan won those 13 straight, up until 2005, Tri-Valley's won 14 of the last 20 over Sheridan. So Tri-Valley certainly had the stranglehold over the Generals in that regard. But also, if you think about just football history, prior to 2006, there really wasn't great Muskingum County football teams in the MVL.
Sure.
It was the three Perry County teams that ruled the world.
That's
Kirksville,
right.
New Lexington, and Sheridan. It wasn't until Tri-Valley really figured it out that the Muskingum Valley teams. Now, I'm not saying, of course, Philo had some good teams.
Right.
John Glenn had some good teams in there. But
as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole. And
right.
They were really few and far between. Like, Philo was always consistently good. They had a league title in 95. But John Glenn never had a league title until Coach Edwards was there.
Right.
It was in like 1980. So the Perry County teams ruled the world until Tri-Valley asserted themselves. And now, 16-4 over the last 20 years. And you got to think. I don't know how much pressure Coach Culver wants to put on his kids if he talks about that. But darn well he's going to talk about how big this game is, how much it means to the Generals, and just their culture, and to try to propel them into Week 10 at New Lex next week.
Right, absolutely. And New Lex, just looks far and away like the best team in the entire league, big school and small school. They have ran through absolutely everybody. They did take down Tri-Valley a few weeks ago. I think that was 29-7. Tri-Valley was missing one of their starting receivers, Luca Gargis, but I'm not sure how much of a difference that really would have made just based on how New Lex has been playing. I feel like they put up 30 points every half that they play. But to your point, though, about what Tri-Valley's done, I think Coach West, obviously playing under Buttermore and being an assistant for a number of years, he's a great extension of what Buttermore set forth when he came to Tri-Valley, came to Dresden, and built this program from the ground up.
That's the culture, man. Culture wins. Both programs have it here. New Lexington's building it. That's why you can expect every year they're gonna be good. Of course, they're always good, and that's what we're looking at tonight, man. Week 9 here in Thornville. Will, I am pumped to see what happens.
Absolutely. Let's talk to the home team first, the Sheridan Generals and Coach Culver, talking about this matchup with Tri-Valley, but also kind of what it took to get to this point, battling through those injuries at the start of the season with Tyce Whiteman, Logan Russell. He was able to bounce back, and he's rushed for 1,200 yards to this point. He's going to talk about the play of his guys and the importance of this rivalry because it will decide who wins the MVL Big School Division Championship here tonight in Week 9. So here's Coach Culver live on Stadium Drive, Week number 9, live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Paul Culver III, head coach of the Sheridan Generals, going into Week 9 and it's rivalry week, going against Tri-Valley, one of the great rivalries in this area. And this game, once again, coming down to the MVL Big School Division Championship. Winner of this game will win the league title. And I always appreciate your time, Coach. And I want to start by asking how many people are asking you about the 0-2 start to the season.
Only those who want to motivate us, right? Like only those who want to give us something to talk about and something to build off of. So we talk about it, right? Like just this week, we're not that football team anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching film from earlier that year and seeing what teams would think of us and seeing how we've progressed. And we're not that team.
Well, and if you look at the teams you played against, too, you played against an undefeated Licking Valley team. They're 8-0, and they're more than likely going to win their league championship. And then a 3-5 Watkins team, which they're 3-5 on paper, but their offense has been just unbelievable this year. They've got great players. Like, those are two really good teams, and there's no shame in losing to those two teams at all.
I appreciate you saying that. Like Licking Valley it's obvious the level. When we walked off the field that night, I said, boys, that's a 10-0 football team. I've been doing this a long time. And I believed at that point we could be 9-1. Sure. And then playing Watkins, we were a little bit banged up, but they were too, for that matter. And I don't know that has continued to hinder them, but I knew I saw a good football team, super aggressive on both sides of the ball and made plays, and they beat us that night.
You mentioned being banged up early part of the year, and that was, definitely the case. I think,
outsiders who look at the 0-2 start, they're like, oh no, the sky's falling in Thornville, when really you just had key guys out. I mean, your quarterback is hurt, and you at the time you didn't know how long he was going to be out, and he came back a lot quicker than I expected just based on things I had heard. But in that moment, you're 0-2, your quarterback's out. What was going through your mind as far as the outlook of the season with key guys out?
So every football season is unique, and some years you just know, like, we're a battle tested team and we expect to be 8-2, 9-1, 10-0, right? Like that's the expectation. Anything less than that is. But some seasons you know that you are one bad play, which turns into a bad half, which turns into a right? Like it just snowballs from there. Like Licking Valley game, we're 7-7. We're playing them even. I even like the way we're playing, and we give up a touchdown pass for 30 seconds. They get the ball with 44 seconds to go before the half, and they throw a long touchdown pass. And it's like, it was a great play by their kids, but on some level it was a mistake by us because we bit on an underneath route. So games change on those kinds of plays, and then that means seasons change, which means kids' mindsets change. And I've had enough, this is my 10th year, and there's been a couple, 3 times where seasons wise, you can go 8-2, 9-1, but that is a coin toss from being 6-4, 5-5, 4-6. And people just don't understand that, especially when you're dealing with high school boys, right? Like teenage boys, like they need to know that they're a good football team. They're coached well. They believe in who they are. They trust each other, and it amplifies. So
with Tyce coming back, and I know when he got hurt at the beginning of the season, I think it was his shoulder, and if I'm not mistaken, it was his throwing shoulder. Obviously, that's tricky to come back from, and I think a lot of people thought he was going to be out a lot longer than he actually was, and him coming back as early as he did, obviously it made you guys much better, much quicker, and you guys got back on track much faster. But as far as his toughness, just to be able to get back in there, stand in the pocket, and just be as good as he's been through this 6-game winning streak. I mean, what can you say about the job he's done and his toughness?
I'm glad you steered me back to that, because I started to say, like, seasons hinge on just plays, let alone injuries. That's where I was going, and then I lost my train of thought. So, I appreciate you bringing me back to that. Tyce, he weathered the storm. We like our other quarterback, Graham Anderson, and Graham played really well against Watkins that night. But getting Tyce back, like, he has a big time arm, and he's able to get the ball to our athletes in space, the quick release, and just a complete command of the offense. A kid that is, he's watching film and he sees things. He sees what we want to do, and so it's good to have him back. And the kids respond to him, and I think they respond to Graham. And Russ was not healthy at Watkins.
Right.
You got a 1,000-yard tailback that's operating at 60%. And you can choose to pull somebody from defense and try to get them carries. And Logan Jones is an excellent running back, but we really rely on him defensively. That's where you're starting to get into, like, we face certain teams like Licking Valley, like Watkins, like Tri-Valley, that don't play kids 2 ways, right? Like they're a program in that sense that they have 50, 60 kids on the roster, 20 seniors, 20 juniors, 20 sophomores. And so therefore they're going to mostly play kids one way. And so when you start pulling kids both ways and you're in a 4-quarter battle, that's where you're going to see cramps, injuries. That's when, and that's hard. And so those kind of coin tosses. So having Tyce, knowing he's completely fresh on offense, knowing he can conduct the offense, we're not asking him to bang away on defense. And Russ getting hurt actually pulled him off defense. He started defense first 2 weeks, and him getting hurt pulled him off defense. And then it allowed other guys to step up and make plays, but it made our offense that much stronger, because now, you see it in the 4th quarter. I haven't broken down the stats, but like the yards that he's racked up in the second half as he's been fresh, not playing defense against teams that we play, it adds up.
Yeah, Tyce has been playing well during the 6-game winning streak, but you mentioned, Russ. Logan's a 1,200-yard running back this season, 16 touchdowns, averaging 152 yards a game. And the last 2 weeks, I mean, like 200 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns combined against Morgan and Philo. So, I mean, and he's almost rushed for 400 yards those last 2 weeks. And you talked about it. He just gets stronger as the game goes on. And it seems like as this season's gone on, as he's gotten healthier, I mean, he is playing so good. And I feel like he is the identity. This running game is the identity of the offense and this football team.
No questions asked. I mean, like having having a tailback that can break tackles, right? Like teams pack the box. So then that means that we can block up what you would call their front six or their front seven, depending upon formations, and some teams even like a front eight. And we can choose to put blockers on those guys, but it typically means that somebody's coming free, like they're going to roll a safety down or they're going to angle their front, and the backside safety is going to get in the fit. And so it means Russ is one-on-one. And he wins those battles. That changes your offense entirely because they're rolling a safety down in the box, which means they're probably playing man someplace else, which means Logan Hupp's going to have a big game, or Luke Skinner or one of our other athletes. And Tyce sees those things. He understands as they move to compensate against this formation. This is what we want to look at. And our RPO game has gotten a lot stronger, and it allows us to control formations in terms of them trying to take something away from us. And he sees all that.
Now, as we inch closer and closer to Tri-Valley this Friday, you're going up against another great running back, the leading rusher in the MVL, and Leevi Wade, and he has been unbelievable as a sophomore. I can't believe he's only a sophomore, but I feel like this, as you call it, it's phone booth football. It's the ultimate matchup of phone booth football. Logan against Tri-Valley's defense, and then your defense against Leevi Wade. Is that how you see it? Is that this game's going to be won by whoever plays phone booth football better?
So I don't expect either team to dominate the other. So yes, it's phone booth football, but because both of those teams have that kind of identity, because both of those teams are willing to trade blows like that, most teams are not. I take pride in that, but when we face the Hartleys or we face the Bloom Carrolls, we stand toe to toe with them, and so. Tri-Valley, that year Bloom Carroll was state runners-up. I don't think it's a coincidence that they played us back-to-back weeks. They played Tri-Valley, they played Sheridan, Bloom did, and they're scoring 2-3 times, right? I think we held them to 17 points, Tri-Valley holds them to 20 points, because those are programs that are built on stout defenses that will stop the run and force you to go to something else. And Bloom still ran the ball on us that night to some extent, but 17 points, I think, was their season low until the state championship. So we have that kind of identity, right? And so, yes, you're staring in the screen, you're staring in the face of a mirror in that sense. That Tri-Valley has that same kind of identity. But what it really is now that we're in a lot of ways equally matched, who else is going to step up? Which quarterback, which receiver, which defensive back is going to make a play that can change a game? And so I think you'll see some of that. Maybe a special teams play will be really huge. It was 3 years ago or 2 years ago when they beat us at our place. A fake punt that just flipped the game. So,
I mean, this is for the MVL Big School Division Championship, and I kind of feel like it always comes down to this, right? Tri-Valley, Sheridan, is like, how does it always come down to these two teams week 9 deciding the league championship?
That's a great question. One, I think it's communities that love the game, right? They're committed to it. They're committed to the background work that it takes to sustain something. So you and I have talked about this before, but it's the weight room. It's the culture of the weight room. Well, that means I'm getting my kids to practices and I'm getting my kids to workouts in the off season. And you have families and friends that are working out these, ride shares and things like that. And then I see that happening over there too. The weight training class, a district that can commit that financially, that we're going to get these kids in the weight room because, let's go full big picture. The weight room, I think it changes your life. It changes a young man's body. It changes him how he feels about himself. It gives him a sense of pride. It helps him understand, straight backed and work ethic and things like that. And I watch these kids, they don't slouch and they conduct themselves differently. And so I see that happening over there too. When Coach Baltimore came and he changed the culture, and Coach West is an excellent extension of that. And so you're staring in a mirror, communities that are committed, kids that work super, super hard, school districts that are committed. Both of our schools have full coaching staffs, right? Like if you're hiring a dad, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm picking teachers that are in the building every day. Like that's a blessing to us as a Sheridan football team. And again, Tri-Valley is the same way. So the secret is there is no secret. Do it the right way and get everybody on board.
The full conversation with Coach Culver is on Facebook and YouTube. We shortened it down a little bit for the show tonight, but talked to him for about 14, 15 minutes. Great conversation, very well said by him, and I always feel like I get smarter about football. Whenever I talk to all of these coaches across the MVL, LCL, and in the OCC, the teams that we cover, but huge shout out to Coach Culver for joining me this week, and his Sheridan Generals are tasked with winning this rivalry game at home for the first time since 2005. It's been 20 years since they've done it. Can they do it here tonight? And it's going to need to be done behind the strength of their running game and their tailback, Logan Russell. He's been doing it all season long, really. He was kind of banged up early part of the season playing both sides of the football, but since he's been playing exclusively offense, he has been the second leading rusher in all of the MVL, and he has rushed for 1,200 yards, 8 yards a carry, which is just obscene. And if you think that's obscene, wait until you see the other side with Tri-Valley, but 152 yards rushing a game, 16 touchdowns, and that is all through 8 weeks of the season. And the last couple of weeks, he's had some outstanding games against Philo, and the week before that as well. Almost 400 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns between the last 2 weeks. He has just been on a tear. And really, the Generals are going to have to do it on the strength of their running game, but they do have a great supporting cast too. And Tri-Valley is obviously going to key in on the run, and the Generals are going to run the football, but eventually when the game gets tight, if it's close, they're going to have to throw it. And they've got a quarterback who is as tough as anybody in the league, and suffered an injury to his throwing shoulder, as you heard Coach Culver talk about. Beginning of the season, week 1, thought maybe he was going to be out for almost the entirety of the regular season, comes back, and since he's been back, only 50% completion. This is kind of a smaller sample size because he's really only played 5 or 6 games this season. 50% completion, 724 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, but he's only thrown 2 interceptions. So even though he's not necessarily completing the ball at a high rate, he doesn't turn the ball over, and that is great and more than ideal for this Sheridan Generals offense that is powered by the run game. And his number 1 wide receiver, Logan Hupp, 524 receiving yards this year, but he has 10 total touchdowns. Remember last year, he was splitting time at quarterback. He can play running back a little bit in that option game. You can put Logan Hupp wherever you want to on the field, and he is going to make an impact, whether it's in the Wildcat playing quarterback. He can throw it a little bit if he wants to. He can run the football. He can line up out wide. He's got 4 receiving touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns this year. And if anybody's going to make a play in this game tonight with these run games kind of being canceled out, these Sheridan Generals on the outside have to win against a younger, less experienced secondary that Tri-Valley has that has been tested quite a few times this year. New Lex has been able to throw on them. Granville, those are their only 2 losses this year, and some other teams in the MVL do air it out quite a bit. If you remember back in week 1, of course, fresh team, new look, first game of the season, you got a lot of kinks to work out, of course, but Meadowbrook was able to throw the ball with a fair amount of success, and they're one of the higher percentage throwing teams in the entire league. Coach Norman likes to spread them out and throw it. And Tri-Valley has struggled a little bit against the pass, and if there is an area for Sheridan to take advantage of, it is that late in a ball game when the run game, you're not going to go to it anymore because time is so limited in a close ball game. And, for Tri-Valley, we'll now swing over to the Tri-Valley side of things, and we'll talk to head coach Cam West because his running game has been terrific. They have the leading rusher in the league in Leevi Wade, 1,500 yards this season. But similar to Sheridan, they have the over-the-top element as well, with guys like Ryan LaMonica, who's 6'4", and can go up and high point the football. He's basically uncoverable. But then you have another guy who can completely take the top off the defense in Luca Gargis. He's had several games this year with touchdown receptions of more than 40 yards, 50 yards, or 60 yards. He had a 61-yarder against Philo last week. And to have that over-the-top element for Stone Spiker, it makes it really easy for a young quarterback in his first year as a starter. You have an excellent running game that gets the offense going. It doesn't ask your quarterback to do too much, but when he is asked to throw, he's got great receivers to throw to. So let's talk to head coach Cam West about this matchup, about guys like Luca and LaMonica and Stone and Leevi Wade, and just his excellent players that he's had this season. And also, too, it's very interesting for Cam because he's been a part of this Tri-Valley program for the better part of the last 20 years, and he's been coaching, the Scotties, since 2017-18, and this is his last time as the head coach of the Scotties in this rivalry, and really against every team this year, but in this big-time rivalry that he's been a part of. And so it's special to him because last year was supposed to be the last time, and he didn't know it at the time when he took the principal's position, but Josh Wright stepped in and then of course tragically passed away, and tonight was supposed to be Coach Wright's first time coaching in this rivalry. And Cam steps back in. He's being pulled a million different directions. He's leading this football team, doing exactly what Coach West has been doing for the last, 20 years, is just being a GOAT. And it's his last time coaching in this rivalry. Let's hear his thoughts on it. And here's Coach West here on Stadium Drive, Week 9, live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. West, Tri-Valley Scotties going into Sheridan week here in week number 9, 6-2 on the season. And Coach, I appreciate you joining us as always, man. And I want to go back to last week against Philo, that sequence in the fourth quarter, because you guys were tied at 15, and then there's a safety. Stone Spiker throws a touchdown pass, and then 2 touchdown runs for Leevi, and you guys go 22 unanswered in the fourth to really pull away. And it seemed like you guys were kind of at a stalemate momentum-wise. Just take me through that sequence and everything that led up to that fourth quarter explosion last week.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of credit to Philo. I knew it was going to be a battle. I kind of envisioned it being kind of a slugfest. They're big and physical. Shout out to Jack Linscomb. I mean, he's injured and he gutted it out and played, and I got a lot of respect for that kid because he couldn't move very well. So I just knew it was going to be a slugfest. They have a really good running back that he got a bunch of carries. So it being tight didn't surprise me. We definitely needed a spark, though. We were kind of sluggish offensively there in the second half, kind of eased our way through the third quarter, I guess, and we just needed a spark. And Logan McClellan provided that, batting that pass, getting the safety, and then it was kind of like, okay, here we go. I know we went for 2 after we got a touchdown. Didn't get it, then got the safety, so it kind of squared us back up. And then we, like you said, threw a touchdown, ran one. I think, to be honest, we kind of pride ourselves on being in really good shape. I talk to our kids all the time, every time we run, that we've got more abs on this team than I've ever seen. We got a bunch of.
You have
abs.
some too, or
not me, coaches, but the kids. Like, we're skinny, so we got to be in good shape. We got to use that to our advantage. And in the fourth quarter, we got to be playing fast still and not wearing down. And I think that played a part in that fourth quarter as well. Us just being in really good shape.
Yeah, and to your point about Philo just battling through injuries, I know Jack and Aiden Mahon, they both got pretty banged up a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was more serious than what it originally was. And for them to just come out and battle with you guys through 3 quarters, and I mean, that score is not indicative of how close that game was, because, I mean, you guys went on 22 unanswered in, 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, a huge credit to those guys, because those guys are as tough as nails.
Yep. It's funny you say that, because I just talked to Coach Buttermore the other day, and all of these, everyone else that's not from here, they're just seeing the score and, oh man, it was a blowout. No, it was not. It was a battle through the fourth quarter. We just had some things go our way in the fourth quarter, and the score definitely looked worse than it was. It was a tight game. But it's good to come out with the win. We needed that one. That was a big win for us. A big win for our kids.
Absolutely. Now, we've talked so much about Leevi Wade this year and how special he is, but I want to touch on the over-the-top element for your offense, because we know how great Ryan LaMonica is on both sides of the football, intercepting passes and just being a big, tall target downfield. But Luka Gargis, I feel like he's had several games this year where he's got long touchdown catches. I think he had a 61-yarder early in that game against Philo. I mean, just talk about that over-the-top element that complements what Leevi does in the run game.
Yeah, I think Luka does provide our offense with something that, when he's not there, like he didn't play against New Lex, he was banged up, he hurt his knee. When we don't have him, we don't have that kid that can just break away with speed. Luka's the one guy we have that can run. And he's a quick kid. He runs good routes, and he kind of can take the top off the defense. Like you said, Ryan is a great player. Not great sprinting away from people. That's just who Ryan LaMonica is. He's a big physical wide receiver that can jump really well. Luka can run really well. So I think those two pair off each other really well too. And obviously having the ability at any play to run a vert past a DB, it's something that teams have to think about. And putting that on film, that if teams are going to walk up and press, we're going to take a shot. We're gonna say our guy's gonna beat your guy, and kind of that's what happened on Friday. And being able to do that obviously helps the run game as well. You get those, and I go back to New Lex, And we didn't have that over-the-top threat against New Lex, and their free safety was making tackles at the line of scrimmage. The Ratliff kid was hitting us at the line of scrimmage because we couldn't get by him. So having that deep ball threat definitely makes you a better offense.
Yeah, 100%. Now, when you look at this Sheridan game this week and this rivalry, and it's always intense, but like I feel like this year, maybe more so than any other year, is this game almost like you're looking in a mirror because both run games are really profound and great, but then you have skill guys that can take the top off the defense, quarterbacks that have developed well throughout this season, and obviously Tyce was battling an injury early on in the year, and he came back and he's playing good football, but do you almost feel like you're looking in a mirror when you're watching film this week?
Yeah, I think we are. We've talked about it as a coaching staff. We're very similar teams. Just the way we're made up, the way our offenses run. We run a lot of the same schemes offensively. A big difference is they play a 3-3 stack and we don't. But other than that, we are the makeup of our teams are very similar, which is a good thing for us because I think Sheridan has a great program, and to be compared to a program like Sheridan, I think that's a compliment for us. To look at our kids and say we're very similar to this team, I think it's a good thing. So we're going to see. I mean, we're going to see Friday who the best team is, and that's why you play the game. The game's not played on paper. It's not played roster to roster. It's played on Friday nights. So it's going to be a challenge. We know that. Coach Culver he'll have them ready to go, but we'll be ready to go as well.
Now, Logan Russell, he's a 1,200-yard running back, and the last 2 weeks, just in recent stats that I've looked at, it's almost 200 yards rushing or 200 yards rushing each of the last 2 weeks, and I think 5 combined touchdowns. He is clearly the engine that makes their offense go as well as your running game is, but I know you also have to account for Logan Hupp and his ability to just make plays whenever he's lined up out wide. But is the focus stopping the run and then being able to play off of that whenever they move to the pass?
Yeah, I mean, our defensive focus every week, regardless of who you're playing, is stop the run.
Sure.
I think we do a really good job of that, and we kind of take the motto: if they're going to beat us throwing over the top, that's what they're going to do. They're going to have to make plays. We're not just going to let them run and chunk us in the run game every single time. And that's not just a Tri-Valley versus Sheridan motto. That's a Tri-Valley defense motto for us. So yeah, I mean, every week we want to stop the run. I think we have good players defensively, and we've done a good job shutting down the run. I think we do need to improve in the pass game because teams have thrown the ball on us quite a bit, and I think we need to make some adjustments and to be honest, just start making plays in the secondary, which I don't think we've made enough of to this point.
Now, I talked to Coach Culver yesterday, and I asked him this question. I'll ask you the same question because I think it's so unique and special that both you and Sheridan, it seems like every single year, week 9, you guys are playing for the league championship, and it's the case again this year. Why is it that both of you guys are always in this position each and every year, seemingly playing for a league title?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to discredit any other coach in the area. I think, and I was talking about this the other day, actually with our superintendent. I think the MVL coaching is top notch. Like I think if you go team by team, we have some really, really fantastic coaches in the league. I just think we do things a certain way, Sheridan and Tri-Valley, and we have standards that we hold the kids to. And regardless of the year, those are the standards. And I know it's that way at Sheridan. Regardless if you graduate 20 seniors like we did last year and have to replace an entire offense and an entire defense, our goal and our standard is to win the MVL and make a playoff run. It's not, hey, I hope we go 5-5 this year. That's not good enough. And I think it goes back to Coach Buttermore in 2004 had a clear vision for where this program could go. And we proved that it could go there. And when you do things a certain way and when you're very calculated preparation wise, I think kids start seeing results. And when you start winning, it gets easier for kids to start doing those hard things and to hold kids accountable. And to be honest, it gets really easy for those kids who don't want to be held accountable. We don't want you on our team. We don't need you to win. So we have a bunch of kids who are bought in. And I know Sheridan's the same way. I'd rather have a bunch of kids that are bought into our program than kids who are me guys. So I think it's just kind of the way we do things. I'm not exactly sure how they do all of their preparation and stuff, but I'm sure there are a lot of similarities between our programs, holding kids to a really high standard, not just on the football field, but we talk to our kids about being the best kids in the classroom, being the best kids in the community. I think it's a lot more than football. And I think if you would ask Paul the same thing, he would probably preach some of those same things.
Now, I know technically last year was supposed to be the last time you were going to be the head coach of the Scotties taking on the Generals, which obviously you didn't know at the time. But now, being the head coach again and everything, have you thought much about the fact that this will be the last time that you're the head coach of the Scotties against Sheridan in this rivalry that you've been a part? I mean, you've just been a part of the story of MVL football, Tri-Valley football, and this rivalry, Tri-Valley Sheridan, for the better part of almost 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about it. Going through this year, obviously, I've been doing a lot of thinking in terms of what's important to me, and obviously losing Coach Wright, it puts a lot of things into perspective, and doing a lot of that last things this year, and playing Sheridan for the last time, playing John Glenn playing all these teams as a head coach for the last time.
Yeah.
It's special. It adds a little bit more of a special feeling for me, knowing that this is it, and we've had a good run, and I'm proud of what I've done and what our program's done over the past 6 years, and I am just saddened that Coach Wright's not here leading the charge. Yeah. That's the whole thing. It's something that it's bittersweet because it's my last time, but it should have been his first time.
Right. Yeah.
So it is definitely a bittersweet feeling for me. Obviously, our kids kind of feel the same way too.
How right Coach West is. That Josh Wright, tonight this was supposed to be his first time coaching as the head coach of the Scotties in this Tri-Valley Sheridan rivalry, and it's unfortunate, gone too soon, far, far too soon, and did not have the opportunity to lead this football program. And I know it's an emotional night for Cam because of that, but he does have one more opportunity to, close out the final chapter of this rivalry for him as a head coach and pull off another win and win again here. Tri-Valley has won on the road at Sheridan every time they've been here since 2005. That was the last time Sheridan won at their home field. So a lot of history on the line here tonight, and for the future of these two football programs. But tonight, the MVL Big School Division Championship is on the line. And let's dive into some stats now for the Scotties, because they have the leading rusher in the league. The two leading rushers in the MVL are playing in this game tonight, and the leader is on the Tri-Valley side with Leevi Wade. I said he was a 1,500-yard rusher earlier. He's just shy of that, 1,408 yards rushing this year, 7 yards a carry, 176 yards per game, and 24 total rushing touchdowns through 8 weeks of the season. Him and Logan Russell have had tremendous, tremendous seasons. Levi's been doing it all year, and he's done a tremendous job of staying pretty healthy. And Logan a little banged up to start the year, been on a tear of recent weeks, and it's going to be outstanding to see these two teams trade blows in the running game. Which one can get going? I'm not sure if either one is going to be able to get going. Like I said before the interview with Coach West, it's whichever team's supporting cast, receivers on the outside and the quarterback, which one is going to make the plays late? Which side's going to make those plays? We talked about Tyce Whiteman and Logan Hupp, and when you look at the Tri-Valley side of things, it's Stone Spiker and Ryan LaMonica, and LaMonica is a big play guy on both sides of the football. But Stone, 58% completions this year. So both quarterbacks in this game are under 60% completions. But Stone's thrown for 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, though. So he is averaging an interception a game compared to, I know that Whiteman has played in less games this season, but only 2 interceptions. So Stone will have to take care of the football, and LaMonica is just a jack of all trades. He's got 500 receiving yards and 6 receiving touchdowns, but also 7 interceptions. So that just shows you the kind of player that he is on both sides of the football, and Tyce Whiteman is going to have to be very careful about throwing in his direction. So, and of course, I mentioned a guy like Luka Gargis as well, who can take the top off the defense. He's got tremendous speed, might be the fastest guy on the field tonight. And for him to be able to get behind the defense and haul in a big touchdown pass or just long receptions in general where he can run after the catch a little bit, that's going to be huge for Tri-Valley. And whichever side, whichever offense is able to pick their spots in the passing game, make a play late in the football game, that's going to decide who wins it, because I have a feeling that neither one of these running games are really going to dominate compared to the other. I think this is going to be pretty much a stalemate, and maybe every now and then one of these ball carriers will break loose. But before we get into the rest of our schedule around East and Northeast Ohio, as well as in the Columbus area, let's take a look at the last 25 years of this Sheridan Tri-Valley rivalry. So Sheridan leads the all-time series 33-22. This is the 56th meeting between these two teams. But the last 25 years, you see on the left side of your screen, 2000 to 2010, Sheridan dominated, really the first half of the last 25 years. But Tri-Valley, you look at the right side, 2011 on, it's been all Tri-Valley. And Tri-Valley's won 7 of the last 10. And at the very top right of your screen, last year's matchup, 21-9. So that's the history, the last 25 years, dating back to 2000. But the all-time series, Sheridan leads 33-22. But Tri-Valley, over the last decade, 15 years, 20 years, they've been inching closer and closer and closer and bringing this rivalry back to even. So we're set for the 56th annual matchup between these two teams, and it's for the MVL Big School Division Championship. So let's, with that, jump into our schedule for games in Northeast and Eastern Ohio here this evening. Of course, we've got our game tonight, Tri-Valley and Sheridan, but on the left side of your screen, we've got Sandy Valley at Garraway, Ridgewood on the road at Claymont, Union Local, 3 shutouts in their last 4 games. They're hosting Belair. John Glenn and Philo will do battle. Maysville and Meadowbrook. On the right side of your screen, New Lex is at Crooksville, Coshocton hosting West Muskingum, Cuyahoga Falls and Talmadge, and Ashland and Worcester. And then finally, Central and Western Ohio. Got a dozen or so games to go through here. Centerville and Springboro. Upper Arlington fell to Olentangy Orange last week. 2 losses in a row. They look to get back on track against Kaufman. Dublin Scioto at Big Walnut. Grandview Heights against Lucasville Valley, Granville and Zanesville in the LCL, Hamilton Township and Bloom Carroll. On the right side now, Davidson and Liberty. Liberty, the state champs are just playing tough, gritty football. They've won 5 in a row after losing their first 3 to start the year. Jonathan Alder lost their first game last week to London in a rivalry game. They're on the road at Kenton Ridge. New Albany at Pickerington North. Dublin Jerome and Olentangy. Olentangy Orange rolling right now in the OCC Central, hosting Hilliard Bradley. Central Crossing is on the road at Westerville Central, and your last game on the schedule at the bottom, Marysville and Olentangy Berlin. So there's the schedule for Storied Rivals Week 9 coverage. Really appreciate you joining us here tonight in Thornville for Sheridan and Tri-Valley, the 56th annual matchup between these two teams. Tri-Valley's won 7 of the last 10, and they won last year 21-9. So another edition, and once again for the MVL Big School Division Championship tonight. Seems like every year it comes down to these two teams battling for the league crown. So I'll hop out of here, but real quick, want to give our friends a shout out at maxeffortmuscle.com, best tasting protein in the game. This stuff is just unbelievable. It sounds cliche. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse every week, but this stuff truly is great, guys. You got to go check it out. Great supplements, great products, great merch, and super entertaining guys there with Max Effort Muscle. So check them out, maxeffortmuscle.com. Follow us on all the socials, especially on X and Instagram for score updates throughout the night. For the games you're looking to follow, I'll be posting highlights throughout the night for the Tri-Valley Sheridan game, and we'll have a Stadium Drive player of the game later on tonight posted along with our Week 9 scores. But I'll take off and head out of here. Take care, everyone, and happy football, and we'll see you for Stadium Drive Week 10, the last week of the regular season. Take care and happy